Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. We have an ESL program graduate, Emma, with us here today. Hello, Eva. How are you doing?
Hi, Dr. Morgan. Doing so well, so well. It's good to
I'm
see you.
so good to see you. I'm glad we get this time together to talk about your journey and kind of get an update and hear where you're at now. I do want to do a brief intro just to tell the audience a little bit about you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So
Awesome.
Emma is a proud mom to a vibrant 3-year-old. She's a full-time human resources professional for a large healthcare organization and recently has a HR management certification. She is passionate about serving others and creating a quality-driven culture in the workplace. She enjoys reading, traveling, camping, hiking, and spending time with her closest friends and family. She's a recent graduate of the E.S.L program, and she said that she has gained a clear understanding and deep acceptance of all the ingredients of the woman that she is today, and that the program has helped her pursue life more intentionally. And she's so much more fulfilled because of it, which is amazing to hear. And I really appreciate you sharing that. So,
Absolutely. My pleasure.
welcome. Yeah. So, I would love to just kind of start off hearing a little bit about your story and kind of your relationship background, if you will. You know, in the program, we do
hmm
that relationship inventory and talk about patterns and cycles. Love to hear just a little bit about what were some of your past patterns?
Yeah, so that is actually how I even found your program in the first place, was just recognizing that I just kept falling into the same type of relationship. And I always felt like I was the one carrying it. And I
Mm,
always felt like I was the one putting in all the effort, whether that was true or not. That is how I was feeling. Um, so in the past, I mean, I started dating, I'm going to say in quotes, seriously, starting out at like 15 years old. So
mm,
we do a lot in the program, that relationship inventory that you just spoke of. Um, it really helped me to go back and actually see the type of people I was dating. And I didn't realize the pattern was there. But, I'm 31 today and I'm dating the same type of people. So it was like, it was very enlightening, really. So the people I tended to be attracted to were definitely the avoidance. And I found
mm,
out I was an anxious person, more so than anything. I think I'm technically disorganized, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
mm-hmm.
so, but I found myself in a very anxious state of being in every single relationship. And there were good moments in all of them, but they were never what um, I pictured myself in, I guess. They always ended up, I want to say, making me somebody I didn't know who that was. So
Mm.
I lost my identity in every single one, I think.
That's such a
So,
powerful share and such a common experience when dating with that anxious attachment style is losing your own identity in the relationship in an effort to not be abandoned, in an effort to
mhm,
maintain the relationship. And I actually liked what you said of acknowledging, hey, there were good moments, because I think it's important to acknowledge that. It's not that it's all terrible. You can still have
mhm,
some good moments in those kinds of relationships.
mhm.
And at the same time, it's not that great relationship, healthy relationship, intentional, where you're holding on to yourself and showing up fully, right? So,
Yes, yes, that's exactly it. I, and really, the program itself, I found it I had just started dating again. I had my son in 2018. I hadn't dated anybody for 4 years, I guess, 4 years, and even before I had my son, even there was even a lapse of like a long bit of time that went through. I just kind of got out of dating after a serious relationship out when I was still doing my undergrad ended. And I focused on my career, right?
Yeah.
I focused on everything but relationships. So anyway, I was ready though. I knew mentally I was ready to get back out there again. And I felt like I was in a good spot as a mom, as a new mom, and, trying to balance work and just kind of adapting to that new lifestyle that you have when you do become a new mom or a parent in general. But yeah, I've decided I was ready, and I met somebody through a friend. And I'll share a little bit about that. It was the classic, as you say, the anxious avoidant relationship, and there was no pacing involved. Things moved very quickly. And then that scared me. And then that caused him hesitancy. And then it just, I don't want to say it went up in flames, because it was actually a very gentle breakup, to be honest. He was very gentle about it because he knew I was pretty sensitive, and just some of the conversations we had. So he really is a great guy, but we realized we were not right for each other. So out of that, I wouldn't say I was heartbroken. I was just I was really let down. And I was just frustrated with myself. I was frustrated that I kept finding myself into these patterns of dating somebody that just wasn't ready to give it all, just wasn't ready to be all in at the same time as me. And I put my heart on my sleeve. So that's gotten me into trouble in the past with the wrong partners, right? So
wow, I want to just pause for a second and just say how relatable that is, what you just shared. And I think there's so many women out there who can relate to, wow, I'm showing up in these relationships, I'm going on these dates, and these people seem great, but they're just not quite ready for commitment, or they're not just quite fully emotionally available.
yes.
And
Yep.
then I think the line that you said that really hit me was that frustration with yourself, right? Because you get to this place and you're saying, wow, I'm showing up again and again, I'm putting in the effort, and I'm still dating these kinds of people. And
Yes.
it's so frustrating.
It is. Yes. It's you as a person with I went to school, I've done all the education that I've wanted to, I have a great career. And then it just kept failing. And I am not one, I don't like failing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like failing. And then I thought, well, gosh, I am ready to love. Like, I'm ready for this. I want that. I knew I wanted that. I've always had this vision of me and a partner one day and having a family. And, so I'd never stopped. I never gave up, but I was very frustrated. I was about to give up. We'll say that. And then I was very blessed to have found your program.
Yeah, and I think about too this idea of, okay, we can try so hard in our careers and in all these areas of our life, and usually work harder
Mm-hmm.
equals better results in those areas of our life. It's very much that masculine energy, work harder, get
Mm-hmm.
better results. But then there's areas of our life where, hey, we're trying so hard, and that's not going to change the outcome.
Right.
So many women I talk with, they put all that energy in their career because it's a linear thing. I work harder, I
Mm-hmm.
get better results.
Mm-hmm.
But acknowledging, hey, you really do have all this love that you want to give, and you do envision yourself in a partnership, having the family, and acknowledging that sometimes you just can't do that on your own, that no matter
Right.
how hard you're working, you're not getting the desired outcome. And you need to kind of stop and
Mm-hmm.
say, how do I break this pattern that I've been
Yes.
doing since I was 15, right? So,
Yes.
such a powerful realization for you to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And then what was it like for you when you started the program? I'm always curious to hear that. Were you like, what were the emotions, or what were your thoughts when you started?
Yeah, it took me. So I found your podcast, I want to say in December at some point. Um, Because really, I was just desperate for any advice that I could get as quickly as possible to not have the relationship I was in to end. I felt that
Mm,
it was ending. And
mm,
I was just grappling at anything that I could find. All these articles online, and and I'm a big podcast listener anyway. And so I found your podcast, and I actually think it was the one I was trying to look back before I met with you today. I think it was the one about sabotaging relationships.
mm,
And one of I don't know what date it was or what episode number, but I remember hearing that, and I'm like, I am doing that. I am sabotaging all of these, and
mm.
and at the time, that's what I was thinking, especially with the guy I was with in December. And we were just like starting out, and I just thought, I have been giving him all kinds of mixed signals because it was my first person that I was actually really interested in
Ah,
dating, since having my son and just getting back out there.
right.
So it was, yeah, it was it was a very confusing time. So anyway, I started to understand myself a little bit more just through the episode. And then, of course, I heard more about the program, and I thought, I've done therapy for other areas, and I could do that again, but it felt right. So I really pondered on it. I was like, I
Mhm.
think this is something that I can see myself doing. And the structure sounded like something I would like with my busy lifestyle. And I just was so excited. I talked with, I think it was Amy, and she just fired me up for it. And I was like, this is totally what I need to be doing. And I was so excited for it. I knew that where I was at, I wouldn't say I was at rock bottom, but I think I was pretty close because I was really close to just
Mm,
giving up on dating. And,
and giving up
and
on that dream of having a
yeah,
family.
yeah,
Yeah.
my ultimate dream, exactly.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I just when I started the program, um I'm an avid journaler anyway, but the notebook I have from the program.
I see this notebook in front of you. Is this it? It's just
Yeah,
like
this is it.
pages.
It's like your
Nice.
college, yeah, your college note
Oh,
taking
good.
notebook. But I knew I was gonna find so much value in this, so
Yeah.
I started with a fresh one, even in a new pen. So
Yes, you have to.
yes,
I love that.
yeah, it was just so good. And I started out. I think is it anxious. You learn more about the attachment
Attachment
theory.
styles. Yep.
So once you do that, it's your light bulb goes on, and then you start to understand. And I'm not going to lie, it was very exhausting in the very beginning because
Yes.
I mean, I think I messaged you. I was like, is this normal? Do I need
Yeah.
do I need to do anything else? Because it was you don't realize how much you're holding in
Yeah.
after, just each relationship ends. Like, you move on, but do you move on? It's like you still keep a piece of that relationship with you always. That memory is never going to go away. Um, so it was a lot in the beginning, but I felt lighter. I felt like I was just releasing and helping to course correct. Probably I was feeling
Yes.
this hope. I had so much hope.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very good thing. And then as soon as it hooked me, right? Hook, line, and sinker has started to happen. And I was so ready for the program. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I've always loved that about you and just how you show up and you dived full into it. And I think just like anything in life, we kind of get out of it what we put into it. And
Mm-hmm.
you showed up and took it seriously and created that space for
Mm-hmm.
yourself to process through it because it is emotional labor. And
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, do you want to go through the pain of, okay, you're going to get out of the cycle. It's
Yes.
uncomfortable. And yes, there's pain there, but it's short term pain
Mm-hmm. It is.
versus a lifelong experience of suffering that maybe
Yeah.
feels comfortable, but
Mm-hmm.
that's your life. Do you want to go through the short-term pain for, a brief period,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or do you want that lifelong suffering? So,
Yeah. Before the
yeah.
program, I truly was thinking, I'm not going to find anybody ever. And if I do, if it keeps going on like this, I'm going to be like 50 years old by the time, I'm 31 now. So all this time is going to go by and pass me. And that's what I didn't want that at all. I was just so
Yeah.
ready for the next, I didn't know what it was, but I was ready
Yeah.
for it.
I
So,
love that. I love too this idea that, hey, you have so much love you're ready to give someone.
yes.
And when we acknowledge that, that's such a beautiful thing to think about sharing. And really this idea, you don't want to have the regret of not
Mm-hmm.
sharing that with
Mm-hmm.
someone.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of fear of regret for sure.
Yeah.
If I didn't keep trying. So, there's some sort of little
Yeah.
voice in the back, just saying, keep going, keep
Yes.
going. And so I
I
did.
love it. Okay, and then so you're in the program. I'm curious, obviously having gone through it, what was some of your biggest takeaways, if you don't mind sharing, just like your learnings about
Mhm.
yourself or how to live your life or how to approach
Yeah.
dating, whatever feels important that
Yeah.
you want to
There
share.
there was so much, and I'm sure I'm going to miss something or not capture it all, but there was so much that happened. I just learned so much about myself. um, and a lot of it, what I was able to do, um, with learning my attachment style, really, in my childhood,
Mm.
that's what set it all up for me. And, I had an avoidant dad growing up and a mom that was not present. I will say my dad is the most loving person ever, and he did the best he could. And you say that in your program, they do the best they can with what they've got.
Mhm.
And I didn't grow up in the best situation. And my brother and sister and I, we all suffered in our own ways, of just trying to kind of pick up the pieces. And so with this program, I was really able to understand why I am the way I am, and I've had previous therapy. So I felt like, it just
Mhm.
kind of all mashed together. It was perfect.
Mhm.
But I was able to definitely dive deeper in and figure out what happened, why I was the way I
Mhm.
am today. Um, and then after I did that, it was the learning that I had, the learning how to love myself. And I want to say the biggest takeaway was how to accept love, because that is not something that I was able to do in a lot of probably every relationship. I was uncomfortable with accepting love. So if somebody was trying to be giving or trying to show me love in their way, I don't know. I took it in a probably the opposite of what they were trying to do.
Mhm.
So the disorganized attachment style is definitely me, depending on that situation. So I could be with the same person. I remember one relationship in particular, a longer one that I had while I was doing my undergrad. And he would do all these nice things for me. And I'd be like, are you just trying to get something out of it? Like, why are you doing all this nice stuff for me? So
Mm.
bless his heart, he was probably like, what? I'm
So
just trying to be
yeah,
nice.
not being able to receive
I
that
wasn't.
securely attached love.
Yeah, I really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I was not there for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that realization happened during the program. I mean, not
Mm.
even with therapy, but it happened during the program. And and then so it was definitely just trying to understand how to receive love, but then to also allow myself the space to give love, but also have boundaries and
Yeah.
standards and all these things that I lost my identity in so many relationships. And I was definitely the girl to be like, if they liked baseball, I was going to go out and buy everything in baseball, figure it all out, read all the
Mm-hmm.
books, do all that stuff. And that's fine to do in a way when you're first dating somebody, so you have an idea, but I think I was doing it in an unhealthy way, to be honest. And it just, yeah. So it just really allowed me to kind of write down everything that I knew I wanted in a relationship. I knew who I am. I knew who I wanted to be. It was just,
Mhm.
it gave me the tools to be able to actually implement it all. So there was so much, and I've written down so much. I've gone back to this because I have started to date again, and I've gone back to this, and that's been another favorite takeaway because there are moments where I have to do the reality testing, and that's something you
Yeah.
taught us. And that's been my biggest, actually, it's been my best friend, to be honest. It's
Reality
like,
testing.
is this
Yes.
reality? Yeah.
That's such a powerful tool. Wow. And it's been such an honor to see your growth and just kind of hearing from you along the way. And wow,
Yeah.
I really think that this piece about that clarity on how to really love yourself and what that really looks like. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
standards and
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. People think self-love is like, oh, you have a good self-care routine, you bubble bath, get your nails done. No,
Yeah.
like self-love is I know who I am. I know what my boundaries are. I can
Mm-hmm.
communicate assertively, open, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
directly. I can
Yes.
share my feelings. I can accept love, right? So you really developing the version of you that you've always been, but
Mm-hmm.
then we have these childhood experiences and there's
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff that we take on that we need to
Right.
let go of. So you let
Mm-hmm.
go of the
Yes.
unhelpful stuff,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so powerful.
Oh, it really was. I would say probably middle of the course, when we kind of did the relationship inventory, we understood the beliefs we were having. And then, the one question was, how is this serving you? What are these doing
Yeah,
for you?
right.
That was a gut punch. It was like, okay, yep, I haven't been, I mean, this is so good to see laid out.
Yeah.
And then the compassion that follows. And it connected to, I felt like I was able to actually give myself a lot of compassion after understanding, that I wasn't, I grew up in a way that, is my own childhood, and it was my own way of figuring things out. And then it was just, it allowed me to understand and really forgive and forget it, like it's always going to be stored there,
Mm,
but it's just let it go, and then allow that space that you were holding on to, all these painful memories along the way. Just let it go and allow for the new abundant love to
yes.
come in.
Beautiful, beautifully said. It really is this whole process of when we accept ourselves fully and we can
Mm-hmm.
actually have that self-love, then that is what allows us to change.
Yes.
When we're self-critical or we're numbing or we're distracting
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, then we're just
Mm-hmm.
stuck where we're at. So really doing this work to get to that place of full acceptance so that you can then change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helped me understand me. And
Yes.
I couldn't have gotten to where I am today without just dealing with those emotions and those
Mm.
thought processes, I guess. And the whole time through the program, well, once I started to understand more, I had this vision of myself just standing on the ground and just like pulling in this person that's been in front of me this whole time, and just pulling her in.
Mm.
And then it's like, here I am. So I have the shell of me who I was before. And then I have that person that I always envisioned for myself. And she's here. We're here. We're good. I am all that I need to move forward. I've got
Mm.
everything that I need. So
That
it's
is so
just,
beautiful.
yeah, it's been a wonderful thing.
I love hearing that. That's exactly why I do what I do is stories like this. So
Mm-hmm.
it really just gives me so much joy to hear that. And I'm so excited for you, obviously.
Yes. Yes. Thank
um,
you.
I'm so curious because people ask me this. So tell me, dating pre-program versus what
Mm-hmm.
is dating like after the program and now in this space that you're in, how does it compare? How is it different?
Yes, I love talking about this. I love it. I'm so interested in it. But before the program, one really great example, and I can laugh about it now. I talked to somebody for 3 months with somebody that a friend had introduced me to, and I never talked to him on the phone. It was always just texting.
Yeah.
And for 3 months it went by and nothing happened.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't progress it. He didn't progress it. We got very comfortable. So that was one thing. Another was the anxiety that was there for dating. And, I've tiptoed back into dating. I just never met anybody that I was like ready to be in a relationship with. Until the guy I met in December when things kind of went south. But it was just so much anxiety, insecurity. I was so insecure, and that caused the anxiety, I think. And it was just like, do I say the right thing? What do I do? I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. And then there were so many moments where I was like, never again. I'm never dating anymore.
It's like that hangover after a night of drinking. You're like, never again. You can get there with dating too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's a great, that's it. And and it was mostly dating apps, or like friends would be like, you really need to meet this guy. He's really nice, all this. But, and I met some great people. I mean, they were fine people to talk to. There was just nothing there. And I really do think that part of it was me just not being really ready. And, and that just means I just didn't do the work to try to understand what I even wanted in a relationship. So
powerful. Yeah.
There was one time, I think it was your podcast, and it said, how does a boat get to the destination without a map, without knowing where they're going?
Exactly.
And that was me. That was totally me dating before the program. And because I didn't want to, I don't know. It was just like, I couldn't give myself that vision. I couldn't fully allow myself to want everything that I've ever wanted. And I don't know why. And I don't know why we get to those places, but for me, it was just, I just didn't think it was possible. I really just kept thinking like, there's no way that perfect man is out there. I see all my friends with these perfect guys, and there's just no way there's any more left. And I didn't know anything at the time about scarcity mindset, but that's definitely where I was planted.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I think so many women can relate to that line you said about, I didn't allow myself to want what I really truly wanted. And really, when I hear that, because I can relate to, my past self too, that really comes down to self-worth, feeling that we're not worthy of it. And also fear, not trusting ourselves, and fear that it's not going to happen. So why would I want it? But really that worthiness issue of feeling as though you're not worthy of it. So
yes,
anyways,
that's exactly it. Yes.
It's so relatable. And then tell me, okay, now, after doing the work, what is it like now?
It's been so much fun. It has been a joy to date. It has been, I've met some really great guys. So I'm a big fan of Hinge. That's where I kind of was. And the dating apps were great for me because I live in a very rural community. So it allowed me to kind of explore into like the more metro areas. Which is where I'm kind of looking for homes, right? So I'm like, I'm in the middle of all kinds of things. But anyway, so I love that app. And so I went out on a few dates with this one guy, and I was feeling a little anxious. He was the first guy after the program. And I went back to the reality testing of what are the stories I'm telling myself, what is actually true. And really our Facebook community, if you look through some of the past posts, there's a lot of women who are in the same spot. So it made me feel a lot more like secure and going into the first date. which I loved and I'm so thankful for. And it's a fun group to be a part of because you're like, yeah, I've been there. At some point I've been there. So it's
Yes.
fun to see others be in that same spot because you feel alone a lot of the time when
Mm.
you feel alone. You're
I
like,
love that you mentioned that the Facebook community, and we have our weekly group calls in the
mhm,
program, and just that space of, hey, women coming together who are right there with you. They're working on the same
yes,
things.
yes,
They understand your struggles. Yeah, it's a very
yes.
powerful community.
It is. It's my favorite one. I adore every single post that you put, and I'm like, God, this is such good stuff for women. So, anyway, but that dating, was fine. He was a fine person, but we were definitely not meant for each other. We went out on 3 dates, though. I think after the second date, I realized, I was not into him, and in like a physical attraction way. And I do think that's important. That's important for me
Right.
anyway. So that was not there. And then that was that. So then I just got, on the app and I'm talking. I know that I am asking these questions. I'm being way more direct than I ever have been.
Mm,
What do you have? The assertive communication. That was one that I've gone back to many times. And as an I'm mostly anxious, I would say, in relationships, but you really don't know how to be assertive.
right.
Um, and I actually never even knew what that was. I
Mm,
don't even remember ever being assertive in any relationship. And that means that I'm not advocating for myself. And that's where the identity was lost. So post program, I'm now able to understand these things and I'm able to be way more intentional than I ever have been in dating.
mhm.
And it has allowed me to meet some guys that I don't think I would have ever been attracted to. And it's super interesting. It's not that they're bad looking or anything like that. It's just like
They're emotionally
they
available.
yeah, they're emotionally available and the energy and the vibes that they bring are matching yours. And that's where you're at. Um, so then I got into dating and I started a conversation. Well, actually, he answered a question of mine on the Hinge, and the conversation just was flowing, and we kind of just gradually paced it, and we were both in agreement of pacing a relationship, which is something I took from the program that I never did before.
Mm,
Um, and so it just kind of gradually became this friendship. And so we started talking more and more. And 6 weeks later, we decided to be in a relationship together because
right.
there's no other person that I want to be with. It's like we did all the
Yeah.
right things leading up to it and we got to know each other. And a lot of our standards and boundaries even are all this very similar. Our values are similar. And I was able to actually, just like I said, be more intentional with dating. And I would have never found him had I not been so intentional about what I was wanting. Because that was actually something he was attracted to. He tells me now. It's like he was like, you were asking all these questions. I knew you were serious. I knew da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, it's like, I was very curious about you. And,
Mm,
data collection that you say,
yes, the
I
love
did it. I
scientist.
followed everything. Yes. And it was so hard because there was a mixture of my old self and then my
Ooh,
new self.
yeah.
And I just kept kind of bouncing back and reading my journal feverishly. Just like, what did I learn? I'm catching my thoughts. I'm catching my anxiety. I'm catching the way I used to think. And is this for real? Is he really this? And, like, is he into me?
Yeah.
Questioning everything. Of course, I never told him any of this, but at the time, but I was like, gosh, he's like a dream come true. This is crazy. Um,
Being able
I've
to
not,
accept that securely
yes.
attached love
Yeah.
is so important. Yeah.
It was just, it created, such a happy space to date in.
Yeah.
It's been so good. It's been so much fun.
Good.
And
I'm so
yeah,
excited for you. That's
yeah,
amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I think so many people can relate to it. And I think that's going to give hope to a lot of people, because you're talking about having an experience that you haven't had in the past.
Mm-mm.
And I think sometimes when you haven't had that, it's hard to imagine that it even exists. So hearing you
Yes,
talk about it and say, hey, it does exist. You can
it
feel
exists.
completely different
Oh yeah.
dating
I
life.
did not think it existed before. So yes, shout out to every single woman or man listening to this. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
'Cause
Exactly.
keep doing the work and keep
I
going.
I also love that you mentioned going on the three dates and realizing that that wasn't a fit and that you moved on, because that's one of the beautiful things about secure dating. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that, oh, you're secure and now you're going to be in a relationship immediately. It's not that.
Exactly.
But you have
Yes.
the tools to not waste your time in
Yes.
relationships that aren't meant for you. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't waste your energy. You're able to move on when it doesn't
Yeah.
fit.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes, absolutely. And you really need to value your energy and who you're giving that to. Um,
yes.
and not spending a whole lot of time. Yeah, because pre the program, I would have spent a lot of time. I would have, why
Yeah.
isn't this working out? Why is he not into me, or why am I not into him? And questioning myself along the way. But
Yeah.
it was more of like, no, this is who I am. I know who I am. I know what I want. He doesn't quite align up with everything. I want 100%, not 90, not
Yeah.
80, not 70. I want
Yeah.
it all. So, and and before I didn't take my time, and I have been. So, and
So
just being,
exciting.
it is so exciting.
And you're so deserving of that, and I love that you did this work for yourself and where you're currently at. I know you mentioned even looking at homes, and this is a new chapter for
It
you in
is.
your
Oh,
life.
there's so much good, and I see that now. I love the idea of thinking abundantly. That is
Yeah.
something that I have taken with me. I think about that every day.
Good.
It's in my prayer. Yeah, everything. It's just like
Good.
that abundant thinking is something that is just life changing in and of itself. Um, but you have to have the space for it.
Yeah.
You can't ignore things that you haven't dealt with. So it's like, deal with it and get rid of that scarcity mindset and go into that abundant
So
mindset.
true. So true. I really appreciate you being vulnerable and
Mhm.
sharing your journey. I know that so many women are going to hear this and really relate. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's my
Um,
pleasure.
yeah, I do have one more question for you. Just well, actually I have two.
Okay.
So first, okay, what would you say was kind of your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part of the program, honestly, is probably the last bit of it where we talked about kind of navigating the early stages
Hmm.
and co-creating. I never understood that. I did not even know what that was, is co-creating this culture together. And I really found a ton of value in that. And that's something that I'm even still intrigued by today. And so that piece of the program, once you get through the nitty gritty, then you can go into learning, what does it look like to be a secure dater. And is that a word? I don't know if that's a word,
Yeah,
but
securely,
but
yeah.
yeah, dating more in that mindset. And then you just are starting fresh and you start new, and you're this new person with this new idea of what dating looks like.
Yeah.
And it really it's so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
it helps it be fun again. And we could all use a lot of fun after the
I
pandemic.
love
So
I love hearing that. I actually love hearing that that's your favorite part, because obviously the program has different stages. And
Mhm.
towards the end, it is about, okay, you have changed yourself. You've done the internal work, and now
Mhm.
you're attracting this secure partner. You're showing up secure.
Yes.
But then the end of the program is about, how do you maintain that securely
Yes.
attached relationship, and what does it look like to co-create a secure attachment with someone? And the
Yes.
crazy thing
Yeah.
to me still is that that's just never talked about. We don't learn that
No.
anywhere,
No, we
you
don't.
know?
We really don't. And I mean, it's the juicy stuff. It's the stuff that matters in the beginning of a
Yeah.
relationship. If you really want a good one. And I think anybody that goes through the program is committing to that. So yeah, the maintaining of a relationship, it's been so much fun. And I can tell you, I have the best partner for it because he's like, well, what do you want? Like, what do we need to talk about? And he's ready
Good.
to talk about like what we check in with each other often. And,
Good.
yeah, it's just like, I think before the program, I would have been like, what does this guy want from me?
Yeah, I love that, this idea. Men want connection just as
Mm-hmm.
much as women do. Men want to have that conscious partnership
Mm-hmm. They really
where
do. Yeah.
emotions are heard and understood and you
Mm-hmm.
co-create that culture. So if we have beliefs that men don't want that, of course, we're going to be attracted to men who don't have that space. But since
Yeah.
you're coming in with this paradigm of, oh, somebody does want to emotionally invest in me and they want to build a secure
Mm-hmm.
attachment, then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have a partner who's showing up with you and wants to do the work with you. And that makes relationship fun and easy.
Yes. Oh, so easy.
Yeah.
So much less pressure, and it just really allows you to really get to know that person on the level you should for, long-term companionship. So,
Yes.
it's just so good. I
I
love
love
it.
it. I love that. That's great. And I am just honestly so excited for you.
Thank
Um,
you.
my final question, I think that this is going to be really good to hear is just what would you say to any women who are struggling in their dating lives? Maybe women who are at kind of the place that you were pre-program. What would
Hmm.
you say to them?
I would say don't discount your past, use it for good.
I love that.
Use it for good, use it for enlightenment and trying to understand who you are. And I read this poem, and it was about the ingredients of a woman or the ingredients of you. And that is an ingredient. Your past is an ingredient to who you are today. And don't be ashamed of it. It
Mm.
is what it is. Like we may have made mistakes. We may have been in relationships for far too long and we didn't get out of them in time. And, we felt like we were damaged or that we just aren't worthy of the love,
Mhm.
but you are. And it just makes you who you are. And there will be somebody that loves every single ingredient of you. And it's possible. I was definitely in that place, but it is possible. So,
I love that. I love that so much. And really, this idea that our past relationships do not determine our present or our future. You can have different experiences.
mhm,
And you are
absolutely.
a beautiful, beautiful example of that, Emma. And I, once again, so appreciate you sharing your journey.
Absolutely. It's truly my pleasure. It's such an honor to be able to do so.
And as a graduate of the E.S.L program, and knowing that, yes, you do have lifetime access to the course. And I think one of the cool things about going through the program too is just the community and knowing
Yes.
that, hey, we get to connect and you connected with other women. Um,
Yes.
it's amazing to
It
honestly for me
is.
to meet women like you and have that connection and know that, hey, I can help women who were in the same place that I was years ago and speed up that journey. Because maybe you
Mm-hmm.
would have got to healing, but maybe it would have taken you a decade,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Absolutely.
you don't deserve to live a decade in pain. So to help
Mm-hmm.
you speed it up and get to where you
Mm-hmm.
are today
Mm-hmm.
more quickly, more effectively, that's
Yes.
exactly why I
Yes.
do what I do.
Yes, it is it is such a wonderful program. I can't say enough good about it. I don't know how many women I have talked to about it. I don't know. I have shared, I have shared
Oh,
podcasts
you're so
specific
sweet.
to the situation. I'm like, I'm
Yes.
all in. I love it so much. It's so valuable. So I
Good.
applaud anybody that takes the leap and just dives in.
Thank you, Emma. And if women have really connected with your story and they want to reach out to you, where can they find you on Instagram? What is your Instagram handle?
Yes. So feel free to send me a request, send me a message. My handle is at Emma Jo Page. That's just my first and last name, or my first and middle name. And it's EMMAJOPAIGE. So at Emma Jo Page. And I'd love to connect. I'm very passionate about this topic.
Something tells me you'll be hearing from quite a few women, Emma. And once again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate you. And we obviously are wishing you the absolute best as you continue on your journey. And I know you will continue to grow and inspire more women. And yeah, I'm just so excited for you in this next chapter.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. And everyone listening, of course, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. Thanks for tuning in.